I've added a few standard items to the user interface. So I've got a score box up here, which I've called scoreboard. I've got the game over message, which I've called game over box, and a replay button, which I've named replay button. Right, so we need to add some more stuff into the game controller, which I have open here. Now we need to add a bit more to the namespace here. So we've got so we need to have the UI library, and as we're going to play again, we're going to use the scene management. And now we need to put in some references to the objects we've got here. So I've got the text box, which has the scoreboard. Oops. And I've got two game objects, which is the game over box and the replay button. Lovely. So when we start, we want to disable the game over box and the replay button. So we put the set active. False. And the same with the replay button. Now we'll need to add another variable for the score. So it's going to be private. It's going to be an int, and it's score. We'll also need to have a public integer, so we can set the value of each ship. And I'll give it a default value of 10. Okay, in fact we don't need this update at all, so I'm going to delete that. And we'll need to add on some new stuff at the end. Have I set the... Yeah. Oh, we also need to set the score to equals 0. I should have done that before doing all of this. Just going to move that down. Yeah, so that should be at the end. So you don't want anything started before we've set all of the variables up. Okay, so now at the end, some new public functions. Right, so the first one is going to be to destroy an enemy. Right, and we need to know which enemy to destroy, so I'm going to call that game object, and we'll give it a name, enemy. Right, so what we're going to do then is we're going to destroy the enemy. And we're going to add some points. So plus equals, we're going to get ship value. And we want to display that in the scoreboard. So score, colon, space, and add on score. Right. So that should destroy an enemy and increase our score as well. The next thing we need to do is to end the game. So another public. That's going to be void end game. We don't need to have anything there. And the first thing we'll do is set game over. It's true. And we're going to enable those messages. So, okay, so that should activate the two controls. And the last thing I'll need to put in is something to restart the game. So okay, that's going to be public. It's going to be replay. And invoking the scene manager. And I've called my scene main. And that should restart the game. And one thing I will do is I'll also set the score here. I mean, I have done it in the inspector. But it's always best to make sure it's in the right format. Okay, so I've got these public variables now about destroying the enemy and ending the game. But how to invoke them? Well, this is where we have to go to the missile control. Let me just test this first. See if I've made any errors. It appears not. Okay, so looking again at the missile control, if we collide with or if a missile collides with the enemy, we've got this at the moment, just destroy it. But what we want to do is get the hand control back to game control, get the game control to destroy it, and also add points. The other thing here is if it hits my ship, we don't want this to destroy the defender because this doesn't end the game. We want to tell the game control to end the game. Right, so we've got to have a reference to the game control script here. So I'm going to put in a little bit extra here. So we're looking for public. And you notice that we've got game control, so we can identify another variable of the type of any script within the game. So that's game control. I'm going to call that G control. Right, so just because we can reference it, it doesn't mean we can find it. So here in the start, we need to actually find the game control script. And the way to do that is to first of all to find the game object. I'm going to call that G controller. So again, we can do that. This has to be exactly as it's written in the hierarchy. Right, so we've got the game object, and we know that the game control code is a component of that. So I'm going to put that in now. Oops. So we've got to get some component of the type game control. Okay, so that should find the script for us, which makes any public function in the script available to us. So down here now, with my ship, instead of destroy defender, or instead of down here, no, that's okay, that's okay. But what we want to do is also to end the game. So I've got access to G control, and now I press on, it should give me access to all of the public functions. And there's the end game. Now with the enemy, I don't want to destroy the enemy here, but I want to, so I'll just comment that out for a moment. Again, I want the G control to do it. So we've got destroy enemy, and the enemy we want to destroy is the other dot game object. Right, so that should then destroy the enemy. Right. Remove that and just check this code. And that's fine. Now if we just go back to Unity, we've got a few more fields to fill in here. Right, so scoreboard down there, game over box there, and the replay button there. Now, one last thing we've got to do is find the code to restart the game in the replay button. So I've selected the replay button, and we find the on click, which is empty at the moment, but I'll click the plus, find the game controller, and inside the game controller there should be a function inside game control to replay. Excellent. So let's save that and try it out. So it should be the same as before, except that now we should be getting points if I manage to hit anything. This one, I might be a bit late. Well, well, the game over worked anyway. But that illustrates one of the problems of this game so far, that you have no idea where the enemies are coming from. There goes another one. So what I want to do is to make sure that we have some idea where they're coming from, and I was thinking, well, what we need is some sort of ranger, like a radar screen. We'll see how we can sort that out next time.